What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is here from a post-match reaction to the game today at the Premier League. Tottenham left with a 2-1 victory, and we was unlucky, man. As it says in the title, it was a tale of two halves, and we're going to get into that today. Please, if you're in the building now, like the video. Please like it, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and yeah, we're going to get this moving because, listen, when I saw that the team news before, Rafinha out, a few of other key players out already, and it's like, oh Lord, what have you got in store for us today? Please, please don't let this be bad, you know. But full credit to the team that was out there in the first half, and we do have to separate this into two because it was excellent the first half. We were amazing in the first half. You know, I've got so many points in to talk about the first half. Let me just get the thing back here. It was nice to see Adam Forshaw back out there again for a second game in a row. Couldn't complete the full 90 today, but that's to be expected. Phillips was excellent in the first half. Like, he was managing Harry Kane very, very well, and we looked really good. And I think it's kind of a scope of our season where I would have been happy going into the halftime at 0-0 because I didn't expect us to score a goal, which has kind of been a problem this season so far, where we're just not expecting to get many goals. But just before the end, you know, Harrison, and we talk about Harrison too, got one in for Dan James, who gets his first. I just want to talk about Joe Gelhardt starting today, which for me, I've been asking for. I've been wanting Joe Gelhardt to start a game for quite a while. But it just always seems to be in circumstances that are just not ideal. He always seems to be on the pitch. Obviously, he's had no Bamford. He hasn't had Rafinha out there with him. And for me, I want to see Gelhardt out there when we've got a better complement of players available to us. And better complement at the minute is Bamford and most certainly Rafinha, who we're always going to miss. You cannot take out a top class talent like that and not miss Rafinha. It's just impossible. But we just have so many injuries. I mean, we're known for having injuries anyway, but it's ridiculous. Uh, Today, I felt when I read the team sheet beforehand, I was boiling because I've said all along. If you're a long time subscriber to me here, I've said all along the recruitment just wasn't enough in the summer. Not enough bodies went out, and not enough bodies came in, and we saw that today. And I don't know how much they've got in them to do that first half performance every week. Obviously, we're not going to play opposition that have got weapons like Son and Kane up front every week. But it was concerning for me. And I think towards the end in the second half when they came out, I think it showed as well that the concern was justified because the first half was amazing. And usually before we could keep that up for 90 minutes before, but we just don't have it in us this season. It's proven. It's not me being over dramatic. It's just proven that we haven't been able to keep up this level of performance over 90 minutes this season so far. Best game being the one versus Leicester, which we come away with a draw with. So, and when you take out Rafinha, for me, it takes out a goal for it straight away because no one else is scoring goals. So that was a concern for me before. But in the game, I want to give a mention for Pascal Struijk today in the first half. Again, I'm strictly talking about the first half so far. Struijk was amazing at left back. He was providing an overlap for Harrison. He was intercepting where I think Forshaw had a shot and it just went wide. I think it was Forshaw, but he intercepted that ball so centrally that Forshaw was managed. Oh no, it was Dallas. It was Dallas. Dallas had the shot that just went wide. And then in the same half, we talk about Pascal Struijk moving back into centre half to break up an attack for Spurs. He's literally everywhere. Like the guy, he's for me, he's becoming one of our most important players. I would ideally like him to be at centre back, but it just seems that anywhere you plug and play Pascal, he's going to do something good for you. He's not doing a job. He's better than that. He's putting in good performances. You know, uh, yeah. I mean, I'll go through your comments in a bit. I just want to get a few of the points of observations out today. I thought Phillips was magnificent, as I mentioned earlier. He really tied Kane down. There was one interception where he read the ball perfectly. Kane was expecting Phillips to move to tackle him, and he just stood there, read the ball. Beautiful. Calvin Phillips was really, really good today. I want to just put that out there. I thought he was exceptional today. Tottenham were disjointed, and a bit like the Newcastle game, we should have punished them even more in that first half while the crowd were on them, because everything that Tottenham were doing in the first half, the crowd was sighing, they were moaning. Winks was taking free kicks and passing it backwards instead of hitting it forwards. We had them on the ropes and we should have taken advantage of them, because if we go 2-0 up in that game, I don't think Tottenham come back. I think they become even more nervous than they already were in that first half. But we gave them the chance after going into half time for Conte to do his thing. And we're talking about two exceptional coaches, but Conte is that level above where he will get that extra out of his players. And he did that in the second half. Yeah, I mean, Darren, we're not going to mention him. Don't worry about that. We're not mentioning him here. Gelhardt started today. Good touches, good dribbles. He was, even backheeling it. Did go missing at points in the game, which is just natural for a player like him to be isolated up front and having to come back and try and chase the ball if the ball's not coming to him. He went missing. He did get taken off. But I thought it was a decent outing. But I don't want Gelhardt to be judged on these kind of performances when we don't have a Rafinha next to him. It's unfair. When we don't have a Bamford playing in front of him, it's unfair to Gelhardt to judge him like that. Because with anything, Gelhardt has got the drive. He's got the determination to get in the box and make things happen, unlike other players that we have in our squad. So for me, I would roll him out again if we're still out with bodies. I would roll him out against Brighton next week. Hopefully, we'll have Rafinha back if it's just an illness. Let me just say that Llorente today, he played some good balls. He's our ball's playing centre half, so he's going to do that. There was one where he did try a little like Cruyff turn, and he got intercepted, and Liam Cooper did bail him out. So, big props to Liam Cooper for bailing him out on that one, because if we conceded from that, it would have been ugly. It would have been very bad. But Liam Cooper later in the game, we'll get into that. I thought Harrison was back to his dribbling best today. I thought, well, not his best, but he was much better than he has been all season long. I thought he was exceptional. Apart from setting up the goal for Dan James, I thought he was really, really good. And that's the Harrison that I know. That's the Harrison that I want to see. I don't know if Doctor's in the building here. I don't know if he would agree. But Harrison was really good down that left-hand side, showing some skills. Even before the goal, he's showing some skills, getting some dribbles in and putting the balls across the box. There was one time where he should have stood the ball up, but he played it across the floor. But listen, we was asking today Rafinha to be out, and then for out-of-form Harrison to perform, a Dan James who's working hard but just with little end product, and Matthias Klick, who has been an absolute ghost since for the most part of our Premier League return. We was asking for those three and Joe Gelhardt to do something amazing here to try and win a game. So in those circumstances, you have to say that the first half performance as well, it was a good performance. I thought it was a good game anyway. Okay. I mean, I see some people saying that you don't think Gelhardt was good enough. That is fair enough. Hey, all opinions welcome here. You know that, guys. It's not an echo chamber. I love hearing what everyone's saying, and there's some calls for Matthias Klick as well, and we'll talk about that. So yeah, listen, we dominated that first half. We was all over them, 1-0 ahead. Unfortunately, they get the team talk from Conte. They get a renewed life, renewed spirit. And they equalised, and the equaliser was so sloppy. I mean, it was decent play from Mora, but then the hit from Højbjerg, it just seemed to take like 15 seconds to trickle in. And it was very disappointing to see that go in, and you could see it took the wind out of our sails for a bit. So, and Spurs just went on top. And then Firpo on for Klick, and again, I think Klick was okay in the first half, but he was losing the ball a fair bit when we was trying to go forward. He'd win it back at certain points, but then he'd just lose it again. And it's like, I mean, what can we do with that? What can we do? We got better midfield play from Pascal Struijk in the first half than we did from Klick, and he got taken off. Firpo, rusty, clearly rusty as well. Not even a question that he's rusty. It wasn't a good substitution. But this is what I'm talking about in depth. And I want to talk about the depth a bit later and why it annoyed me today. It really did annoy me. But Yeah, Click was blowing. Forshaw started to blow around that time as well, which is understandable. We're not. I don't know how realistic it is to ask for Adam Forshaw to come back in to the Premier League, and this is a point that people keep on missing. We're not in the Championship no more. This is the Premier League. We cannot ask a player that's been out for 2 years to give us two 8 out of 10 performances 2 weeks in a row. If he's doing that, he's a top echelon type of player. But it's not. We're not in that position, so it's unrealistic for Adam Forshaw to come back and try and play another 90 minutes. I thought he did well up until he started to lose a bit of steam. Their free kick for the second goal came from a needless foul from Cooper. I just don't think he needed to do that. That's just me personally. It's not criticizing the individual. It's criticizing the play. I just thought it was a lazy foot he put out, and Mora went over, and from there they scored their free kick. And again, in the phase of playing that free kick, when Reguilon scores, more tactically aware players will push up. It's very, very rare that you see rebounds like that count. They're usually offside. They usually don't happen. But we had a couple of ball watchers, Forshaw being one of them, and Reguilon scores the rebound. It was easy. That again, it's the problem. We had Harvey Barnes that scored a real good goal. But again, we were back to conceding these scrappy, just avoidable goals. And then from 2-1, Spurs just kind of soaked up a bit of pressure. Um, you guys in the chat are lively. I'm going to come to you guys in a bit, yeah? Just please like the stream, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Yeah, John H is. He's just going to say that I think more was through if you got past Cooper, but you played percentages. You played percentages in that instance. We're talking about Lucas Moura. He doesn't score goals very frequently, so I would rather trust Melier to do something, or trust somebody who was running back next to him to intercept him to save the shot, rather than give them a dead ball situation. That's just me, though. That's just me. Just seeing if I've got anything else. Yeah, they sat back, and then we saw a debut from Stuart McKinstry, and I'm sure it's great for the lad. I'm very happy for him that he's got his debut, but it shouldn't be happening. And this is what I want to talk about in terms of the squad depth. Our bench today was it was a joke. We're in the Premier League, and we've got a bench like that. So when people are saying that Click was blowing, Forshaw was blowing, it's all true, but we got nothing to replace them with. And it's not about having a squad full of Man City's Chelsea. Let's put that extreme aside. It's about having players that you can just plug and play when you've got a few bodies out. Obviously, our injury list is a bit extensive right now. But asking Stuart McKinstry shouldn't be getting a debut in the Premier League. I'm sorry. I think Lewis Bates should be ahead of him in the pecking order for debuts. But people are saying there about Roberts. We all know that one. Let's not go into it. It's more about the depth of the squad, and I've said for a while that the depth was going to kick us in the butt at times, and it did today. When we're struggling with Click and Forshaw, when they're starting to lose fitness, we should have some ready-made bodies there, and we don't. And that is the thing of having a small squad. And I was asked on the Tottenham preview, actually, Tapping Tobes, who I did the preview with on his channel, asked me about Bielsa, about the pros and cons of Bielsa. For me, and I said it on his channel, so I'll repeat it here just so we're clear. I just hope Bielsa's a very smart man. He is. He's very intelligent. That's how he got that performance out of us in the first half. That's through his coaching. But I hope that he's willing to adapt and realize that we do need a couple more bodies in January. I'm not saying go and spend 20, 30 million on players. It's unrealistic, especially when we're not getting any money in for players that we've got. But if we can get some players on loan just to bulk up this squad a bit, it would be very, very helpful. And where I'm not anyway, I can't speak for anyone else, where I'm not thinking before, all right, no Rafinha, no Bamford, no Rodrigo. Yeah. Where are we going to get a goal from when we've got so many players out of form up front? It's a worry for me in terms of just going forward in certain games, but I want to hear what you guys have got to say about the game. And I just want to say as well, in the first half, our defense was magnificent. We're accused of being open and everything else like that. We were fantastic in the first half. So I just want to put that out there. I'm gonna go to your comments now and just see what you guys are saying. Uh, Paul G, so disappointed and angry, but we'll back the manager in place to the end. Of course, we'll always back him. We'll always back him. Well, me and you, Paul, I will all speak for us because you just said it. I agree wholeheartedly. Back him all the way, but we shouldn't be leaving ourselves short the way that we have. Shouldn't be. Byron saying depth is a joke. Bielsa firing with 18 shooters instead of 24 in the Premier League. Yeah, and this is the Byron is absolutely correct. This isn't the Championship. If we see McKinstry make his debut in the Championship, you're like, okay, fair enough, maybe not in the Premier League. I'm sorry, it shouldn't have happened. Like I say, I'm happy for the kid. I really am. But I'm thinking about my club here. I'm thinking about Leeds United. We shouldn't be seeing McKinstry make his debut in the Premier League against Tottenham away from home. Sorry, we just shouldn't. Bandy saying a win would have really changed our season. Yeah, I was dreaming of a win. I thought with the first half performance, I thought we might go on and get a second and nick this one, but it just fell apart. Fell apart in the second half. But you can't put that all on the players out there today. I think that's just from the lack of squad depth that we've got. Why we faded away so heavily in the second half. I really do. Rick Kerr is saying, if we don't strengthen in Jan, I would worry about us going down. We are losing games we should be winning. Okay, right. So on that point, Rick, let me just go to just getting the table up because now we're not even at a point per game of the league table now. So let's have a look because Watford's beat Man United yesterday, which did not help us. So now, yeah. So we're 17th now, 12 games played, 11 points, goal difference -8. And Burnley have got 9 points, Norwich with 8, Newcastle with 6. But listen, we are still down there. We're still down there for a reason. I wish it was like the Jonathan Woodgate where he said the table was laying. Remember that thing where he was Middlesbrough bus? Table's laying. It's not lying. We're 17th because we deserve to be 17th. And Rick Kerr, people call him irrational, saying that he's worried about going down. It's understandable with how we're playing and the results we're getting, smaller results. Because I've already said on here as well, I'm not so bothered about the performances anymore. Like the performance we had against Leicester was magnificent to see again. It was the first half performance today. I just want to get results now. Forget the performances. Let's grind out results. If it's an ugly 1-0 win, I'll take it. I will take it at this point now. Because for me, points on the board are more important than performances right now in our situation because the games are ticking on. That's 12 games now. It's not the 3, 4, 5 games anymore where we could say, I hope the performances come back. It's about getting the results. And I think that's what it is. I'm just reading that one, Sugary Goodness. I'll bring this one up, mate. Why is it okay for Gelhardt to get his first team debut but not McKinstry? I see it as a positive given our kids' debuts, but admittedly, this needs to be supplemented with first team players. And yeah, Sugary Goodness. The reason why for me is because there's a difference in class and expectation. Like, for me, you don't just throw on every kid that you've got if they're not good enough. For me, I have no doubts that Gelhardt is good enough. I have no doubts that Lewis Bate is good enough. I have no doubts that Cody Drama is good enough. But for me, you don't just throw on every single one just because they're young and give them a debut. That's my point. It's about a quality point. It's not about the age, because for me, if you're good enough, you're old enough. But McKinstry, I've not even heard of him being talked about much as somebody that should be promoted from the under-23s into the first team. I've never seen any scouting reports, read no reports about him being ready. So for me, that's the reason why. That's why it's okay for Gelhardt to get his first team debut, and he's got more about him in his game. It's quite clear as well. But that's the reason why I say that, Sugary Goodness. It's nothing against McKinstry. It really isn't. It's just that as a team in the Premier League and with Leeds United, we shouldn't just be bringing on any and anybody from the bench. We just shouldn't be. Let me just see. Well, Chris Baldwin is saying we are in a relegation battle this season, no doubt about it. Richard, ciao from Milan. Hello to you, Richard. Rebecca G in the house. Football is played in two halves, no goal scorers outside of Rafinha. Recruitment is at fault for this relegation battle. Losing again from a winning position is a problem. Fed up. And that was it as well. That's another thing as well. What you've got to remember with us, I mean, it's not good to go back, but usually when we take a lead, you can be pretty confident that we're going to be all right. But this season has shown, and it's made us look a little. I don't know if we're going to be ready. We always feel that we need that second goal to kill off a team. Whereas before, I'd have been happy with 1-0 up, and I'd trust the team to get the job done. But things have changed a little bit. Things have changed a little bit. Darren Wong saying McKinstry doesn't look ready. I didn't think so either. Mohammed Smith, I think that third post sub might have been the worst sub I've ever seen. It's only funny because I've seen Mohammed Smith so many times. I can just imagine how he said that as well. So, yeah, Michael Cashmore, this is a brilliant point here. Michael saying we have to play above ourselves to get a draw, very worrying. And that's it. We're having to put in absolutely everything. It's like this, I've said it on here before this season. It seems like we have to do everything within our power to get a goal, but the opposition can just throw something in the box. It just ricocheted a few times and they can get a goal out of nothing, apart from the Harvey Barnes one. It's very frustrating. Lewis K. Wood. Squad depth is an absolute joke. Someone needs to be held accountable for it. More pressure needed on the club. And that's what I'm saying about January. January is going to answer everything for me. They made a mistake this summer. Cannot defend it this summer. They did not do enough this summer. But if they go into January and not try and get some players that will be available on loan, I'm not saying spend 20 million. I've already said that. If you're not getting good quality players available on loan, no more runners. Don't want to see any more runners. No more working hard. Let's stop with the working hard stuff. Let's get some quality on the ball. Let's get a finisher that can stick the ball in the net. Let's do that. No more runners. No more hard-working people. Let's get some quality on the ball. If we can do that in January, great. But if they're not even going to attempt it, then I'll be very concerned. I would be. Rebecca G back with all teams in the relegation battle got at least a point yesterday. We needed something today. We have a championship first team primarily and a youth team bench. Recruitment is at fault. Hey, can't argue with that, Rebecca. Can't argue with that. Paul G, players for top teams have to go on loan and prove themselves in the Prem. We play kids who have never played in the man's game. Crazy. Yeah, it's not even about top teams having to loan their players out or us. It's about having better options on the bench. You have to. And that's why, and I've stayed strong with it. I've stayed strong with it, and I will continue to stay strong with it. That is why I was adamant that we needed to get at least 4 or 5 players to replace people in our first 11. And then move those players onto the bench, because then your bench is much better while you've improved your first 11. And we didn't do it. So Matt Games, for me, it changed when Calvin went from defending the back three to pushing up. And that kind of coincided with Click going off and Junior Firpo coming on. Because I think that's kind of when Calvin started to move forward. And you're right, Matt, he was great in that. He was great when he pushed back. He had Harry Kane on lock. He really did. Yeah, it is frustrating, but again, I don't want to get it lost in the credit for the players today that performed as well as they did. Because if you had said that the team that was starting today would have only lost 2-1, and it would have been from a half that we dominated and Spurs had to come back, I would have said you were crazy. So, you know, it's not for me. It's not really on the players today. I think they give everything they could. I'll be honest. I don't think it's on the players today. Steve Jarrett saying, why did Bielsa change the formation in the second half and the subs were crap once again? Right. Ali here saying McKinstry is longer in the process. He's not bad either. Okay. And underneath that, John H. McKinstry looks even average for the under-23s. That's what I'm saying. I'm with John on that one because I've never seen him stand out for me. That's just my own personal opinion. He's never stood out for me. So, Bono. Okay, Bono Houston. I'll put this one up because Bono, you're saying what the F was that? not good enough. Never mind missing Bamford, Rafinha, Rodrigo. Bad result against a bad team, and that's the thing as well. I mean, we're not in the best of positions, but Spurs have literally been woeful over the last however many games. Of course, that when they would get due their first shot on goal in how many hours, we give it them and give them the goals. But that's it. We're Bono. You're saying that it's a bad result against a bad team, but they're better than us. As bad as they are, we're worse. So hmm, it's a tough one. I think it's a tough reality for a lot of Leeds fans to accept as well, because we've been used to our swashbuckling football for the last few years with getting results here, and even when we did lose, we win another one, etc. It's not really happening this season, as our 17th position shows us. But um, FRDFF asking, why did you guys sign Bait if you weren't playing? No idea. No idea. I don't know whether it's because Lewis Bate is that one that's ready, and once he does play, it's going to be pretty obvious that he should be starting. And Bielsa's probably scared to start him and drop one of his long-time favourites. I have no idea. But for me, Lewis Bate gets his debut ahead of McKinstry every day of the week. It's not even close. Tom Gatlin, a good performance, but we need to get something at Brighton. In the January window, we need a centre midfield and striker. Yeah, we do. Absolutely. Uh, Shout out to South London's finest. His default pitch always reminds me of a burger, as I've told him before. I think you guys need to bolster your midfield. You are too reliant on Phillips to do everything. Okay. Stephen LC out in Houston. I remember you and others asking for a veteran striker during the summer. It would help at this point. Yeah. Again, another mistake by the club, just laying all their eggs in the Patrick Bamford basket and not thinking that there could be possible injuries. I know he was very durable last year, but things change. Injuries can happen at any time. And I said it in my preview with Michael. I just feel that at this point now with Patrick Bamford, we're not going to see him until Christmas. That's just my personal opinion. Maybe even a new year, because, and I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I think if we were doing better in the league, I think they would give us a time frame on Bamford's injury. I genuinely believe that as well. But because we're not doing so well, if you was to say that Bamford's going to be out until January, it's going to send the fan base into an absolute spiral. So we've had two international breaks since Bamford's injury, and he's not back yet. Good progress here. I don't know what that means, because we heard that good progress was being made for sure about a year and a half ago, and look what happened there. I'm not saying it's that severe, but I just think that they're not being upfront with Bamford's injury at this point. That's just my own personal opinion. I don't know how do you guys feel about that. Uh, Philip Anderson, a few people have said this. Even though Harry Kane's arms was at his side, his hand stopped the path of the shot from Daniel James. He went to VAR and we got mugged off again. It's the thing is, Philip, if the hand's by the side, they're not going to give handball. It's as simple as that as well. Your hand needs to be in a real unnatural position for it to be called handball now. The rule is pretty much clear with that now. So it's unfortunate, but that's it. Yeah, Paul O'Connell. Does Victor need to have a very tactful chat with Bielsa about squad depth that doesn't make him want to walk due to being told what to do? I, I think I said this. I think did I say this on the debrief? But I've said this already. I've said, oh no, I said it in a group chat. Oops. What I've said is that I don't want Bielsa to go. I really don't, because I think he's the best one to coach the players that we've got. But I do need management to just make him see, if he's not willing to bend, look, we need extra bodies here. We need first teams. No more under 23 signings, no more kids to buy. We need some established players that can do the work of established players in the Premier League. We're not in the Championship no more. We can't rely on Stuart McKinstry to come off the bench in the 86th minute and do something positive to get us an equaliser at Tottenham. It's just unrealistic. So I'm hoping Bielsa sees that himself. That's my hope. I don't want Victor to have to convince him. I want Bielsa to say, hey, we're a bit light. Can we do anything in January? That's the ideal scenario for me, Paul. So hopefully that happens. Sakib saying Dan James played very well today. What do you think? Yep, Dan James gave us what he's been giving us, the work rate, the endeavor. And this time today, he had the end product. And I thought he was really good. He was the only one in the second half as well that was kind of shooting on sight. He was really trying to get his shots off. And yeah, Dan James, want to see more of that. We need more of that consistency from Dan James overall. And for me, I'm not worried about him at this point. It was good to see him get the goal though. But yeah, I thought he played. I thought he played very well today, Dan James. Uh, Rishi, this we can't afford to buy any more rubbish. Absolutely, but we also need to offload some players. I've made this point before, but there's a lot of people here, so I want to make it again. We have signed a lot of players over the past few years, a lot, and even though they've been cheap here, relatively cheap for Premier League, 17 million, 27 million on certain somebody. We haven't recouped any money in. We have not got any money back in. I think Helder Costa's on loan, out on loan at the moment. I don't know if his permanent fee is going to be 6 million or something. But again, we're not getting any serious money in. And apart from selling the gems that we have, Melier, Phillips, and Rafinha, they need to be more active in trying to get some of these other players that just aren't cutting it out of the team and make way for some new faces. Even if it means selling a couple in January and then just getting some people on loan. Because like I say, at this point, I really do believe that the 49ers investment is purely to get the books looking a bit better, because we haven't got any transfer fees, meaningful transfer fees in over the past couple of years, but we've spent a lot. And that's another issue that we have. Like I say, there's a lot of people in there. So yeah, people, please smash the like on the video. Let's get me out of the algorithm hell and keep me going. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed as well. I'm on the road to 3K. Hopefully I can get there at some point this year. That would be nice. RNH, problem is we could be cut adrift by January with the games we have coming up. Yeah, listen, we're in the Premier League to play the games that you're talking about. I think you're talking about the December fixtures. We're here to play them. But yeah, it's going to be a tough run of fixtures. But listen, that's usually when we're at our best. That's usually when we can pull a rabbit out the hat. So I'm not worried at this point. Let's just look forward to Brighton first and see what we can do there. Paul O'Prey, regards from Vietnam. Shout out to you, buddy. Gutted we didn't get a point. Yeah, I'm disappointed we didn't get a point. I think a point would have been a fair result given the two halves, but that's where we're at the minute, where we're 17th. When you're down the bottom, those kind of second goals go against you, where somebody gets a rebound off a free kick. Oh, it's terrible, terrible. Robbie in the house, depth. Every team has injuries, but this is killing us right now. Yep. Ed. Hey, Ed, how you feeling about Ali gone, man? You see his emotional interview today. Yeah, he's gone. But yeah, Ed saying Bielsa's still in KG. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Bielsa's still in. But we just hope that he's going to adjust some of his ways. That's all I'm asking. Jonas Radcliffe, we are linked with both Ross Barkley and John Swift. We should get both of them. No, John Swift, yes. Ross Barkley, no. Absolutely not. Ross Barkley will not help us in the slightest. I'm sorry, people, don't get sucked in by the name of a player. Ross Barkley is not a good player. He's the exact same player that we had on loan back in the Championship all those years ago. He's got explosive feet, but his decision making is still horrendous, and Chelsea fans will tell you that as well. He's just not the player that he should have been. He's not the player he should have turned into. He's just not. So for me, no. Ross Barkley, no. John Swift, absolutely. And listen, Reading are in a bit of a pickle. They've just had a points deduction. He's out of contract in the summer. How much can we pick up John Swift for? It would be a good investment. Max H, there are positives, though. It wasn't like the Southampton draft. Oh, no, we're not. I don't think we're going to get one like the Southampton one again. If to get anywhere near that Southampton performance again, it has to be absolutely awful, because that was the worst performance under Bielsa. It doesn't get worse than that. So, yeah, it was nowhere near that. It was good overall, I think. I do. Retro Football Club. Why does Bielsa always ruin it with making subs just for the sake of it? Jack Jack Lenny, shout out to you, man. Always see you showing love and support, man. Shout out to you. I know people won't put hate on Bielsa, but he really needs to be held accountable for a lot of this. Signings, tactics, sub simply isn't good enough at the moment. Listen, and you know me, Jack. You're a long time subscriber here. I don't think Bielsa walks on water and can never be held accountable. It's true. It's just that at the moment, with our subs bench, where did we turn to? Click was clearly gassed. He was out of it. Where do we go if it's not Furpo? It's tough. I'm not making an excuse. Again, that goes to what you're saying about lack of signings, and that is a problem. It is a problem. But like I say, hopefully he changes it in the summer. Yeah, Lee Waters, good point here. People think we're better than we are. We aren't Everton's level, let alone Spurs. Can't disagree with that. Can't disagree with that at all, Lee. You're right. South London's finest. Would you guys take Eddie back? I personally wouldn't. Again, what's the point in getting another player that just isn't going to cut it? For me, Eddie and Nketiah should be in the Championship, not the Premier League. So absolutely not. Just going through some more of your comments, people. We're at 36 minutes. Didn't plan to go this long, but loving the interaction from you guys. Absolutely loving it. Now, is this Connor's burner account? All these people that said Norwich are down already, have they looked at the table today? Yeah. It seems to be happening a lot as well, and Rebecca mentioned it earlier. It seems that teams around us keep on picking up these wins and points here and there, and they seem to be always playing the day before us. And yeah, listen, we're in it. We can't. You're in denial, I think, if you believe that we're not in the battle. You can think that we're not going to get relegated. That's fine, but we are definitely in the battle. Our form, our league position tells us that as well. So yeah, we just have to get on with it and grind out results. That's why I'm saying I don't care much about performances right now. I just want to see 3 points on the board each week. That's what I want to see rather than swashbuckling football. I'll sacrifice that for results at this point. At this point, though, not going forward. I don't want to see ugly football year in, year out and we turn into a Roy Hodgson Crystal Palace. I don't want that. I don't think any football fan wants that. But we've got to do what we've got to do right now with the players that we currently have. Listen, he's been mentioned a lot. I can't not because then I'm ignoring the people. I can't censor you guys. So I'm going to read this one out from Retro Football Club. The Tyler Roberts thing is getting a joke now. He's so bad. He's League One level. The amount of times he just passes out of play is staggering. There we go. There we go. I really do my best. Listen, people, I know I've gone hard on some certain players before. I'm really trying not to though, because I just don't think it's helpful to anybody. It's not helpful to me either when I just start going off on certain players. But we know this. You know, there was a tweet by the official account the other day where he came on off the bench for Wales and did nothing, and somebody underneath replied, "So at least he's consistent with that," and it made me laugh heavy. But it's true. It's true. There's nothing else we can say about him now, and unless he's going to be leaving again, he's one that I would be looking to sell. You got to sell some of these players, man. You have to. We have to. Yeah, DJ Beza. First half was really good. Second half was disappointing. Made Lucas Moura look like prime Ronaldo in that second half. Yeah, that's what we do sometimes. We do it with these kind of players that are not consistently great. Almiron, Lucas Moura, and other names like that, where they're just not that good. But we sometimes give them the license to look better than they are. It happens sometimes with our team. Yeah, Max H. There's not a lot of resale value on a lot of these players. Yeah, but sometimes Max, it's about just getting them out. Addition by subtraction. Like a lot of you were saying in the chat here about Tyler Roberts. It's about not having him as an option to come off the bench. So sell him for whatever you can get. We bought him for what was it, a $3 million deal? If you can get that back, then you've done very well. But for me, sometimes it's about just not having the option to pick some of these players because when you've got them, they're going to get picked. They're trusted by Bielsa. They've been with him for 3 years. They're going to get picked. So it's about just getting them out, getting some new bodies in of quality, and seeing what we can do from there. Ed is asking, are you still not worried? I'm not worried. I'm just, like I said before on here, it's just not been fun so far this season. Leicester game aside, and that half an hour against Wolves, it hasn't been fun for me overall watching the team. It just hasn't. Let's not rewrite history on what we've seen so far in the games. It hasn't been a lot of fun, but this is the position we're in. I'm not worried at this point, Ed. I'll say that 21st of November 2021. I'm not worried at this point in time, but it is concerning that we're just conceding so many sloppy, unnecessary goals. Wow, so much interaction, people. I'm gonna have to scroll down. I'm about 6 minutes behind. Um, oh, Steelers. Damn, I didn't mean to press that one. You mentioned the A word. Stephen LC, $30 million. Oh, yeah, out in America, yeah, $30 million for the Spaniard still doesn't make any sense. Was he that in demand when Leeds agreed to that deal? Listen, hindsight is a great thing, by the way. Who was to know that Rodrigo was going to be as toothless as he's been overall? Because let's be honest, even people that defend Rodrigo and say he's getting better over the past few weeks, if someone outright asked you today, has Rodrigo been a flop or a success? What is your answer? It's got to be flop, right? If you think that's a success, then fair play to you. Everyone's got an opinion, yeah. But for me, it's not been a success. And hindsight's great. Maybe we could have looked at somebody a bit better, but we weren't to know that at the time. But yeah, it hasn't been a very good signing. But what I always say to people as well with that, Steve, is yes, we spent 30 million on Rodrigo, 16 on Helder Costa, and it is we're not going to see that kind of money for those kind of players back. But at the same time, we've also got Calvin, who's worth 70 million plus, Rafinha that we got for 17, that's worth in that bracket and more, by the way. So sometimes you give with one hand, take with another. It all balances out kind of thing, if you know what I mean. So where you've overpaid for some players, Joe Gilhart 1 million, he certainly won't be sold at 1 million if he's ever sold from Leeds United. So it works, swings and roundabouts, as the saying goes. Uh, Let me just go through a few more of your comments, people. Interaction's great, people. Please like the stream if you're here. If you haven't already, please do that. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. Yeah, Philip's here. Philip Anderson, come on now, people. Let's get KG more likes. Everyone smash a like for this guy. Yeah. Gordon saying we are in the battle for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oops, just scroll all the way back up. Yeah, South London's finest. Ross Barkley is washed. He absolutely is. I think people just get enamored by the name Ross Barkley and think that he's a player of significant talent, but he's not. Even when he went on loan to Villa last year, he does what he does. He starts off like a house on fire, and then he becomes droppable, which Dean Smith did. He dropped him from the team. He was a substitute for most of it after he was injured, which is another thing. He is very injury prone. So just no for me. Yeah, Mr. P just repeating something I said earlier. We had Spurs in our hands in the first half and the fans on their back. Yes. Uh, Nicholas Griffin, it's all about form. Points will follow. KG. Okay, yeah. Bruce is saying KG. Cooper yet again. True captain is Calvin. Yeah, I agree with you there. You could see Conte waiting for halftime to give them a rocket. Some players need to move on. Can't disagree with that, Bruce. Good points. Jack, is that true? Phil Hayes tweeted, Bielsa spoke about January. Guys, would you please give me the patience to have a look at this? Let me just see what he said. We can have a wonder about this. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we've heard this answer from Bielsa before. Phil Hay, this is from Phil Hay's tweet. Bielsa asked about the January window and whether he needs to add players. Says it would depend on getting better players than he has. Can't be hard. And they can be expensive. Says adding to the group should not be evaluated without looking at the economic possibilities. Correct. Reiterated again that he feels Leeds have already invested heavily in players on his watch. Says a lot of suitable players fall into the 20 to 30 million bracket. Again, yeah, he's basically saying what I've just said, in that it's not the players that you're looking at are probably going to be 20, 30. But for me, there's going to be some good players that will be available on loan that will definitely be an upgrade on what we have here. And Bielsa, we've heard that from Bielsa before. If you're not bringing a player that's better than what he's already got, I just hope he's not over-evaluating some of the players he's currently got. That's all I'm saying. Martin Peters asking who would buy Roberts. We would struggle to sell him, to be honest. It's the problem, isn't it? I do believe that a championship club would take Roberts. I genuinely believe that as well. It's a bit difficult at the moment with the financial situation in the championship. A lot of them are struggling for money, but I definitely believe a championship club would take Tyler Roberts. Absolutely would. Let me just see. Just getting some more of your comments just before I end the stream today. Seems to be a couple of arguments going on in the chat. Gordon White, evening KG, late coming on to your podcast. I'm not a podcaster, I'm a YouTuber, but I know what you're saying. But shout out to you. If you missed anything, Gordon, please just go back to the beginning of the video once I'm off, and you can catch everything there. Forbidden Forest with a so popular KG because debrief is amazing with Connor and Brownie. You're a perfect role model for all black kids. Oh, cheers. Thank you. That's very nice. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I really do. Just going through. Max H. Anyone ever heard of Kark? Apparently he plays for us. He's on his way back. He's tweeting on IG in his comeback. He's coming back. Max H. Just I'm sure he'll be back very soon. Yeah, shout out to our away support as well. David Mallon mentions it here. Away support spot on as usual. Performance in the second half disappointing, but yeah, our away fans were good, and it counteracted some of the Spurs home support that was getting on their backs completely. But yeah, shout out to the away fans as always, man. Yeah, Dwayne saying James is getting better every game. You can tell he's being coached and his position has improved. I agree. Want to see more of that. I want to see some more goals from him going forward because he's got it in the locker. He just needs to improve that final third distribution and decision making. But yeah, it's coming along. But yeah, listen, guys, you guys are just hammering. Listen, Tyler Roberts is getting absolutely spanked in the comments here. I can't put this stuff up. Oh Lord, Jesus. Robbie saying, great content, KG. You should have way more subscribers. Love the analysis. Thank you. Listen, I've said it before. Somebody said this to me before on a comment on the Bradley Johnson video. They said that I'm one of the best. But listen, when you give real content, when you're not giving takes that are ridiculous and get clowns on your channel, it's very hard to grow because people just want to see mindless things. They want to see a clown make a fool of themselves. They want to hear stupid takes like we're going to win the league from 17th position. But I'm not going to do that. I'll stay real. I look at Turkish as somebody that does that. He keeps it real. That's how I am. I'm always going to keep it real. So I believe I'll grow in time, but I appreciate those kind of comments. I really do. Listen, all it is now is Tyler Roberts getting ripped. So I'm gonna end it around here. But all I'll say, and I'll end it with this, just going with the squad depth. Andrea Razzani has talked about finishing in the top 6 next season. He wants European football next season. He obviously sees that he's going to have to change a lot of things going forward. He obviously sees that. What we need is better first-team players, more options on the bench that can make it impact, not bring on debutants at the 86th minute at Tottenham Hotspur. It can't work. Um, listen, people, you guys in the chat are just making me laugh. I'm trying to sign off here. I'm trying to sign off. But listen, before I go, I had a great conversation with Bradley Johnson, ex-Leeds midfielder Bradley Johnson, early this week. If you haven't seen that video, go and watch it. It's not out of date, because we touch upon stuff like the Harry Maguire celebration and things like that. Also about the first active gay footballer that came out. We talked about a few things, and I think it's a really good chat that you guys would enjoy. And yeah, if you haven't seen it, go back and watch that. It's not the video before that was the preview with Michael Bridge from Sky Sports News. It's the one before that one. I think you guys would enjoy that video as well. So if you're new here, please go and watch that one. Like I say, please like the video, please subscribe. And yeah, listen, people, I will see you. I don't know if I'm going to preview the Brighton game. I don't know at this point in time, but I'll be back next week at some point. So thank you for joining me on this one.